Hi, I'm Milton Rendell and welcome to Real News Friday. Today we're on the top deck or the roof of the new Catalyst executive apartments here in central Midland, and as you can see the city's in the background, some magnificent views from up here on top of the Catalyst building. Anyway, this week let's have a look where we're at. Sales, 878 sales. Actual house sales were down 11%, unit sales were down 8%, but land sales is up 92%. And you know, we've seen some of these things every now and then that kick in with the land sales, so we will see numbers move around. But current stock levels, 10,437, which is down on a year ago. A year ago we had 13,639, so obviously that's a sizable difference. In terms of properties on the market at the moment, I said 10,423. That consists of 5,178 houses, 2,599 units and 2,660 bits of land. So it's quite a diverse market. 5,000 sort of plus houses on the market is an interesting number. It's not a high number, but certainly the demand is certainly still out there. We're still maintaining the overall numbers, but around the holiday period it can dip a little bit in terms of house sales, which it probably, as it has shown. Rentals pretty stable at the moment, but still around the 2,959 mark. Now compare that to where we were 12 months ago. 12 months ago it was 6,200. So just to break down the 2,959, there's 1,501 houses on the market and 1,458 units on the market. So it's about half at this particular stage, but as mentioned before, well down on what it was 12 months ago. Now, inquiry for rentals is still maintaining, which is probably surprising a few people, and that's an excellent thing to be having. House sales are still staying stable, so we're quite stable. And it's funny, if we go back, 6 months ago, we wouldn't have picked what's going on currently, and in recent news, as you would have seen, they're talking about price pressure, both to rents and also to houses themselves. So they're forecasting for 2021 increases in prices in West Australian housing between 3 and 5%. Some areas will be higher than that and some areas will be low, but it'll get back to supply demand. But overall we're seeing some really good indicators going into 2021. Now last week I did mention the election in the US and how much of an impact would happen. A lot happens in a week in the US, as we well know. Now Trump has got the virus, and we'll see where that unfolds over the next week or so. It certainly hit the stock market in the US the other night, dropping at least 600 points in a couple of minutes. So the stock market in Australia has done well. With certainly been some increases during the week, and that's a byproduct of the announcement of the federal budget. There's plenty of giveaways in the federal budget. Like everyone, I don't like deficits and I don't like getting in debt, but I think federally and at state level they have done what's best to maintain jobs within our country, and they're aiming obviously to continue to do that in 2021, 2022 with some of the new incentives that are out there. So stock market and our overall economy, I think, will show some very positive signs because of some of the decision making being made at federal and state level. But like you, I'll probably get a little bit stir crazy. It'd be nice to see our state boundaries open up again and be able to move around again. It's nice to explore our own state, but just maybe we're probably a little bit selfish. We'd like some freedoms to be able to get out into other states, particularly over to the east states. Some of us got family on the east coast, which we'd like to see and check on as well. But guess what? We're pretty fortunate. So overall, I think we're going forward between now and Christmas. I think we'll see a fairly stable market. They're still maintaining around that 10,500 mark in terms of stock. So it's been an interesting number in terms of properties on the market, but there has been also an introduction of a lot more land. I think developers have tried to bring that forward, and that would have reflected in the sales last week and that increase in land sales. So between now and Christmas, if you are thinking about selling, the market is active and there are buyers out there, and that's pretty traditional in any case, but I think we're probably seeing the greatest amount of activity that we've seen for a number of years, so take advantage of that. If you are selling, you're welcome to give us a call, and happy to complete a market-free appraisal for you and discuss your wants and needs. In the meantime, check out realestateplus.com.au.